What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Austin Show. Today we're looking at a McFarlane DC Multiverse group. So this is a set that we bought off the McFarlane store, so it all came together. So there's no real theme or anything to any of these figures. They're just kind of a group they sold online. So we got two mega figs here of Necron and Bane, and both of these look really cool. They look like giant figures. They are mega figs, so they cost more and are bigger in size, but they just both look really cool, and it'll be awesome to see how tall they are compared to other normal figures. We also got Talon as well, so you can just see their sizes there compared to Talon. So these three figures to look at from this group bought from the McFarlane store. So all of them look really cool, and I'm excited to check them out. So let me get them open out of the box, and we'll take a look at them together. And we're going to start off with Necron, which is the Lord of the Unliving that returned during the Blackest Night storyline with the Black Lantern Corps, which are just a bunch of zombies equipped with Black Lantern power rings, until he's eventually defeated by Hal Jordan when he bonds with the White Entity, becoming a White Lantern. So here we have Necron in his coolness, and again, he's a mega fig, so at the end we'll see all the figures, so you'll see his size comparison to Bane and Talon. So either way, he looks really cool. So he's a big, pretty much just like zombie guy. So he's got this big, like, dead face, so he's got all this weird, pretty much just a skull, but it does have like some design over it like a skin, but it's all sort of pretty much flattened to a skull. His mouth open, his wide eyes, and just his evil laugh with the Black Lantern logo design up on top. He's got a chain around his neck, so it just has like this shackle around his neck that you can attach chains to, and you can see his chest is wide open with his black heart, so skin's all decayed, and you can see his ribs and everything just grows there, with a black outfit covering over the top, so you can see it covering up over the shoulders and around to the back where he's got this hood design, which is kind of cool, hanging down there, and it just hangs all the way down as like a skirt or dress material there. And again, the Black Lantern design around his waist. Got his arms, so you can see his arms, barely covered by any skin. Some black wrappings, more shackles around there, and then his hands. And then he's got some pants on, so he actually has some pants design. So this all black pants going into the black boots. So he's actually got some designs on there. So he just looks really cool, and this figure is humongous. So just overall with its size and design, it looks really cool. So for movements, we get the head that can twist all the way around, and it can look down that far and up that far. So not as good probably because of the shackle around his neck, but it does have some movements though. The shoulders can come up to 90 and rotate around within there. We get a bicep twist, the double elbow joint that can bend all the way up on itself, and the wrist can twist around and flex on the ball joint, so flex back and forth. Now he doesn't have any like ab crunches or anything, but he has a twist and crunch at the waist. Now I doubt it works very well because of all the material, especially around his waist. So he can crunch back and forth just a very little. I don't know if you can even see that, but he can rock back and forth and twist around. You can mostly see it with the legs twisting there. But then we get the hips that can come up close to 90, not all the way because of the material here, so it's stopping it, so it comes up that far, and there is a bit of a thigh twist up in there. But then we get the double knee joint that, again, with all this material is going to be really hard to do, but it can bend up at least that far, so not too bad. Even with all the skirting and stuff, can get up that far. So then we have the foot at the joint with the newer design sort of ankle joints that blend in there, so the foot can rock back and forth real easily. And then we have the twist, so it can twist around at the top of the ankle as well as the bottom, so it can twist side to side there with the toe joint on the end. Now, unfortunately, with this figure, our other ankle is sort of messed up, so you can see the design. It does not blend in there, so that I think they used the wrong pieces or whatever. So it doesn't function 100% perfectly, and it's just out of shape there. So something's wrong with it. So we unfortunately got a mistake there. But otherwise, the rest of the figure looks really cool. And because of that messed up ankle, his foot doesn't stand flat, so you have to kind of get his knee to bend to get the foot flat there. So that's the only way we're able to get it to stand up. But if we have too many problems, he does come with a base. So he's a big figure, so a base won't really do too much, but we do have it. We can pop him on. And for accessories, we get his Black Lantern power battery scythe. So this is really cool. So it's a big scythe, so this just like wooden stick design, and I like all the materials, like little branch pieces sticking off and everything. But up at the top, we do have like a Black Lantern design in there, which is cool, with the big scythe blade coming off of it. So this thing just looks ridiculously cool. It's very awesome to have this. So let's try and get this into his hand. So there's the scythe in his hand, and that just looks really cool. So you can try and get this posed around for action pose, but either way, it looks really cool. Ooh, it looks like our scythe's a little bit up there from the packaging, but that just looks super cool with Necron there, and that scythe just looks amazing. But of course, we do have his card that will give us more details. So there's the picture that was on the back of the box, but it's from Blackest Night with a bunch of our heroes there. And on the back, of course, real name Necron, and it says a dark entity as old as time itself. Necron is known as the Lord of the Unliving. As the physical manifestation of death, he can summon the dead to serve him. Looking to control the land of the living, Necron started influencing William Hand, aka Black Hand, down a dark path from a young age. After his his death, William was bestowed the Black Lantern ring and resurrected. As a Black Lantern, William became Necron's herald and released Black Lantern rings upon the universe, fueling the power needed to bring forth Necron to this plane of existence and snuff out life as we know it. There's a little bit more explanation there, but either way, he just looks really cool. I love the design of him being a Black Lantern, so having that design and the scythe and everything just makes him look really cool. Now, if you saw one of our last videos, we got the Blackest Nightwave, so we have a bunch of those figures, especially Black Lanterns. But first off, we have the Build-A-Figure Atrocitus, so just so you can see the height comparison. So Atrocitus was big itself as the Red Lantern, but now we can have him next to Necron, and you can see just how big Necron is even compared to him. So Necron is definitely huge. And there we can have him with our other Black Lanterns that we got in that wave as well, with the Batman, Superman, and Deathstorm. So all of those look really cool, having a little Black Lantern core going here. So very cool to have those all together with Necron. And then we've got Bane, which this is a really cool figure. It's big, not as big as Necron, but just looks amazing and much better than that old Bane that we had. But Bane as a kid was forced to serve out his father's prison sentence for 17 years, where he spent the time studying and becoming stronger until he was eventually able to break out of prison and took up the name of Bane. And he ended up going to America, to Gotham City, to defeat the Bat that he heard legends about. And while there, he released the prisoners from Arkham to exhaust Batman, and then he decided to strike, where we have the famous Nightfall storyline, where he broke Batman's spine over his knee until Batman was eventually able to get better and came back and defeated Bane. But Bane's big and strong as he is, and in some of the design we see here, because of the super steroid Venom, which is used to enhance his physical functions to superhuman levels. So that's what all these green tubings are, and the tank feeding into the back. So he just looks awesome here. So he's based sort of like off of Masked Wrestler, just with the mask design. So it's like a luchador mask, which looks cool with the red eyes, the gray around it in the mouth, and then the all black mask. And as mentioned, he has the tubes going into it, so it's like he's got an oxygen tube here with that tank design, and then the green venom tubes feeding into it as well, feeding him the venom. So he's got super strength pretty much at all times, and that looks awesome just with that tank design on there, and the little backpack pieces with the straps coming around to the front. Just the strap designs look really good, and it feeds in with his muscle definition and the popping of veins and stuff. So it just looks really cool. And he also has an additional venom tube coming into his hand here, so he just looks ridiculously cool with the vest design going into the all black outfit with the nice texture and design to it and everything, belt around the waist as well, the black gloves on, all the way down to the black boots that just look really cool. So this is the perfect picturesque version of Bane. It's just so perfect. So for his movements, we get the head that can twist around. I'm sure with all the tubes and stuff, we can't really get too much, but it can twist around there very little and look up and look down. So again, very little movements just in the head overall, but they are there. Then we get the shoulders that can come up to 90 and rotate all the way around. We get the single elbow joint that bends probably about to 90 or probably under, just not too much room in there, and can twist around as well. Then we get the wrist that can twist all the way around and flex on the ball joint. Now the other wrist is a little bit different just because of this big chunky wrist design, but it functions pretty much the same. And unfortunately on ours, just barely even touching this, the hand completely fell off, but thankfully it's just a slid on peg, so we just put some glue on it and glued it back on, so it's back on there. But yeah, unfortunately our hand fell off and it was just dangling by this cord, which was funny. But then we get the ab crunch, so it's all in the waist for him, so he can crunch back and forth, very little, but can twist all the way around as well. Then the hips can come up pretty close to 90. Out to the side he can do the splits, a little bit of a thigh twist up in there, and the double knee joint, which I know on these is really stiff out. Yeah, I can't really get the bottom one to move at this point, but we can go up that far at least. But if the bottom one did move, he could probably kick his own butt. And then we get the ankle that can rock back and forth, and this has more of that classic ankle design like other companies use and stuff, so it functions really well. It can rock back and forth there and twist side to side with the toe joint on the end, and with that I don't have any issues at all. So this Bane is pretty much the perfect figure, just a little bit more movements in the upper body and you have probably the perfect Bane. Now unfortunately he doesn't come with any accessories except for the base plate to pop him on, but because of the feet and stuff we don't really need that at all. But then we have his card, so there's a picture of him. So this is just Bane, it's not from anything, not listed from anything, so just a generic Bane, and his real name is unknown. But it says born on the island of Santa Prisca, the boy who would become Bane was raised within the confines of the nation's cruelest prison, where he honed his mind by reading any books he could get his hands on. After decades of imprisonment, he was chosen for an experiment testing a super steroid called Venom. Not only did the Venom work, but it also gave Bane the strength to escape. He then set his sights on Gotham City, a place which he had heard of many legends, with one goal in mind: break Batman. So there's, pretty much the Batman story already told. But either way, like I said, this Bane is just awesome, and like I said, pretty much the perfect figure, and it is just so cool. And now, unlike those others, we have Talon, which isn't anywhere near as cool. But Talon's real name is William Cobb, but he's a highly skilled assassin for the Court of the Owls, which is a shadow organization that runs Gotham City. And we find out he's the great-grandfather of Dick Grayson, and he's infused with a chemical compound, Electrum, which has the ability to reanimate dead tissue and heal living tissue, so it kind of keeps him alive. So he's a really old guy, but like I said, with that Electrum, he's kept alive. So he's just pretty much in all black here, and he's Talon, based from the Court of the Owls, so he has like an owl design. So you have the owl like eyes and little beak there, and then just this gold detail on his helmet, give like just the owl like ear designs and just overall owl mask design there. He's got the logo of the Court of the Owls there in gold on this strap with all the like little daggers there on the bandolier as well. Again, mostly all black. Has an owl design forearm guard and then some like claw designs or talons on his fingers, so you can see the talons coming off there. He's got some little like arrows and stuff he can shoot out. Belt around the waist with all sorts of pockets, and then just black going all the way down to the boots. So he's pretty basic, simple figure, and not too much to him, and I don't like the design. Like, I just hate the whole mask design stuff. Just looks pretty stupid to me, but it's cool to get a Talon. But for his moves, get that can twist all the way around, and it can look down that far and up that far. So just a little tiny rocket in there, unfortunately. But the shoulders come up to 90, have that butterfly joint in there that doesn't really move too much, but it is there and rotates around. We get a bicep twist, the double elbow joint that can bend all the way up on itself again, with the wrist that can twist around and flex on the ball joint back and forth. We have the up grab crunch, so crunch back and forth and twist around, and then at the waist as well, so you can crunch back and forth and twist there as well. Then the hips don't have much movement. They can only come up maybe 45 there and out to the side that far because of this like skirting piece, and no real thigh twist at all, but the double knee joint can bend up at that far to the back, which isn't bad. And then the foot flexes back and forth and twists side to side, and I'm sure there's more twisting up in there. It's just covered up with the toe joint on the end. So it's not a horrible figure, and definitely has the best movements out of all of the figures today, so that's pretty good. But just overall, I just don't like this look, so he's definitely the most lackluster figure of this. But unlike all the others, he comes with a number of accessories. So first off, we have the base. We'll pop him on just to keep him steady, and then he comes with a lot of weapons. So first off, we get this backpack sheath thing that we can plug into his back. So it's just a little thing that we can pop into the hole on his back, which unfortunately doesn't stick in too well. It's just barely sticking in there, so this may fall off a lot. And with that, we can stick two swords in it, so we get these two sword designs that look really cool. This awesome design, have the holes on the end of it there that almost look like heads or like claws or something. So these we can take and stick them into the back on the sheath. So there's the swords in the sheath on his back, which look pretty cool, I guess. And then it also comes with two daggers in the very similar design that look really cool. So these we can put into each of his hands. Now he does have a little like sheath design here on the side that does have a hole into it, so like you can put a knife or something there, but he doesn't come with any other knives but these, so I don't know what that's for. But we'll go and put these into his hands. So there's Talon with those two knives ready to fight. So that looks really cool there for him. Like I said, not the coolest looking figure itself, just because I hate that mask design. But like I said, still really cool to get Talon because I feel he's an important newer character. But we have his card here, so there's a picture of him from Court of the Owls, and on around on the back, of course, real name William Cobb. But it says, while juggling on a Gotham City street, William Cobb stopped a would-be thief from stealing Nathaniel Haley's wallet. Thankful, Haley offered William a job at his circus. After becoming a famous circus performer, William returns home, falls in love, and has a child. However, his wife's family disapproves of William and bans the young couple from seeing each other. Taking advantage of the situation, Haley offers William the choice to become a Talon, a covert assassin for a secret organization of wealthy elites known as the Court of the Owls. As Talon, William is virtually unstoppable, capable of being reanimated, and strikes without mercy. So there's more backstory on him at least. But either way, he looks really cool, and like I said, not a horrible figure, just an ugly design, which is just his creator's fault. Well, there's our three multiverse figures together, so you can see the height comparison between all three, with Necron definitely being the tallest, followed by Bane, and Talon being your average multiverse size. So all of these look really cool, especially the Necron and Bane. I just love both of those figures. Can't really complain too much about them. Like I said, Talon, just don't like his look, but it's not a horrible figure. But either way, all three of these figures are pretty cool, I'd have to say. And like I said, especially this Bane, just because I love the Batman Rogue. So getting Bane is really cool, and this, like I said, is almost the perfect design for him. So can't complain at all too much about this. But let me know what you thought of these figures down in the comments, and if you enjoyed my review, let me know with a thumbs up. But I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.